I speak for those who didn't get the talk, the tools, or the tenderness, because growth and healing don't come with a manual, but together, we'll figure it out. All right, now that I've kind of cleansed my own energy, I feel better about talking about the moment we've all been waiting for. And really not the moment everybody's been waiting for, mostly just the people who saw my TikTok and my Instagram post about my horrible Bachelorette weekend. That's what we're talking about today. Doing a story time about my Bachelorette weekend from hell. Yeah, I'm just going to give y'all just the rundown of everything that happened and why I kicked 2 bridesmaids out of my wedding party. I took almost I took like a week and a half from just like saying really anything about like what happened. I just really wanted to just sit with it because in the past I have reacted rather than responded to issues, and I've learned over time that it's a lot better to sit in it. So I just allowed myself to sit in the experience after I got off that plane. And now I'm ready to talk about it from a more healed space, from a place of understanding. I've had conversations that I needed to have to get a better understanding of why the weekend went the way that it went, all of the things them. So you already know from the title that this is like a horror story for any bride. And I might be, after I tell the story, you're probably like, girl, you're over exaggerating. It wasn't a horror story. Nobody died. Nobody got sick. Nobody even really got physically hurt. That's horrible. But for me, it was horrible because this is like, while some of my bridesmaids, they're talking about like running the Bachelorette weekend back to redeem themselves. This is currently the memory that I have of my Bachelorette weekend, and I'm not really invested in running another Bachelorette weekend back. So if we do, we do, and if we don't, this is the memory that I have. So first things first, we decided to do Vegas, and really not we. My bridesmaids decided to do Vegas, and they told me that that's what we were doing. I did stress from the very beginning that, let me turn this fan off. I did stress from the very beginning that we didn't have to like do it big. We did not have to do the most. In this economy, folks really don't have it like that to be spending an arm and a leg on you and your wedding. So I didn't have that expectation. I was perfectly fine with us going to a spa here in Charlotte, grabbing some drinks, having a night on the town, and calling it a day. But I'm gonna say the poison within all of this is the reason why we ended up in Vegas, to my understanding. So yeah, we ended up in Vegas, and that was that. I hadn't really been asking any questions about what the plans were because I just had faith that things were working out the way that they were supposed to be working out. So the weekend comes. I get to Vegas on a Friday. When I get there, it's just my maid of honor who was there in the room. She lets me know that everybody's flights are delayed, so everybody's going to be coming in late. So my expectations, because we only really had like 36 good hours in Vegas, honestly, because folks flying in on Friday, we were supposed to have like Friday night in the room, games, all the things, Saturday morning, hike, spa, pool, dinner, party, like full day Saturday, go home Sunday. That's how the weekend was supposed to go. So with everybody's flights being delayed and stuff, I didn't have any expectations. So we ended up just, I think we like walked the strip and got some tacos that night. And all of my bridesmaids were not together because we were waiting on two. I had 6 bridesmaids to begin with. I'm down to 4, but only 4 were able to make it to the Vegas trip. So Friday night, I was only with 2 of my bridesmaids. So me, 2 of my bridesmaids, and my fiance's best man walked the strip. He was there because he had the plug on the hotels and all this stuff. This is everything I'm learning like once I'm there. Either way, he had the plug on the hotels, and honestly, he was like my like anchor just a little bit that evening, because I kind of had a feeling like things were not organized, and I was kind of like peeping that, but I was trying to like still stay positive, and he kept checking on me like, sis, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Either way, so Friday night, we walked the strip, got tacos, I had edibles, some champagne, took my behind to sleep. The next morning, the plan was to go hiking. So I had 2 cousins that were bridesmaids, and cut the poison. I'm just gonna call it what it is. The poison started with the shit. So it started off with my maid of honor letting me know that I'm not gonna say the poison. That's kind of just, that's still moving in anger. My cousin, she basically let it be known that she wasn't going to be going to the spa with us. And she also let it be known Friday evening that she had gotten a separate room. So that was like red flag number 1, because I was really confused about why my cousin and my cousins, plural, they're sisters, why they were choosing to get another room when the point was for us to all be together. That was flag number 1. I really didn't ask many questions. I just kind of was trying to go with the flow, because I was really trying to trust that like things were organized. And come to find out, like the reason we ended up in Vegas was because of her as well, because my cousin is the type of person who likes to do it big. And any way she can like create that, she's going to. So I know that's how we ended up in Vegas, which I was fine with. And I really want to say, because I'm going to keep saying my cousin, because she pretty much sabotaged the weekend. I still want it to be known, like, I love my cousin and I appreciate everything that she has done for me this season. But this was just ridiculous. So either way, she's not staying in the room with us. So she then, did I say that already? She wasn't staying in the room with us, and she decided she wasn't doing the spa at the last minute. These are all like the whole weekend plans. Like they created the plans prior to the weekend. And so my cousin was just doing this thing where she was just like deciding at the last minute, like, oh, we don't want to do that. We do the spa every weekend. Like, we don't want to do that. Which is crazy to me, because it's like, this is my bachelorette weekend. This is the thing that we said we were doing as a group, and you're deciding you don't want to do it because you go to the spa every weekend, which is a lie, but that's besides the point. So that was thing number 1 that made me kind of be like, what? As far as the room situation went, I was a little bit confused about that, because my expectation was an Airbnb, but again, my cousin decided to pick a hotel for us to do. We ended up at a DoubleTree Hilton at first. The bathroom was dirty. Like, I don't do dirty bathrooms. Like, I don't do it at all. So Friday night, not only did we end up walking the strip for tacos, before that, we spent like several hours going on the shuttle, like back on the shuttle bus, back to the airport to switch hotels, which I was fine with, because the second hotel that we ended up in was way better. The bathroom was like A1. I wanted to do like a whole photo shoot in my bride's in my bride robe and stuff. None of that got to happen because again, my cousin was like letting this demon just show up and show the hell out all weekend. So we wake up on Saturday morning and we end up we go to the hike. I still know that they're not going to the spa with us. So the plan was supposed to be after we went hiking, we were then supposed to go to the spa. And while me and my other two bridesmaids that were going to the spa were at the spa, my two cousins were supposed to be decorating a room. I'm assuming it's the room that they got. So that's why I was kind of trying to be like, oh, okay, well, they got a whole separate room to decorate because they wanted to surprise me. Whole time I realized, and she told me too, that it was just the reason she got a whole nother room was because she just cannot stand my maid of honor. Like, she did not like her. She did not like her. And she allowed not liking my maid of honor to like ruin everything. Because me personally, even if I don't like somebody else that is in a wedding party that I've been asked to be a part of, I'm going to put that aside for the bride. And I'm just going to put that aside for the bride. That's just final. She was not willing to do that. And it really still like bothers me. And it really broke my heart in the moment to see like, damn, you really like, you don't have it in you to put your emotions to the side and put that to the side to like make this a great weekend for me. So after we go hiking, that was a real quick hike. Really, it was just for the pictures because it was way too hot to be like really hiking the deserts in Vegas. So I plan to go back. Either way, we get back, and I'm taking a shower. Oh, I didn't mention this. Then Friday evening, once we finally got back, I'm taking a shower and I'm like ear hustling and I hear my maid of honor on the phone with my cousin. And basically my cousin is like checking her, going off basically because nobody told her that we were switching hotels. Keep in mind, my cousin already let it be known that she got a whole nother room and she wasn't staying with us. So that just made no sense. And I was already starting to see like, okay, she's doing the delusional thing. This demon is demoning right now. So my maid of honor, she basically told me like, hey, like your cousin, like she's on one and I'm trying. And I was like, just chill. I understand if you go off at some point because like, I don't expect for you to let somebody keep playing in your face and disrespecting you, but just try to chill. And she was holding it in for me, which is why I made the decision that I made, which was kicking my cousin out of the wedding party. So yeah, we get back from hiking, and after hiking, I'm under the impression that we're going to get some breakfast and then we're going to go to the spa. I then learned that we're about to switch hotel rooms for my cousin because my cousin threw a whole hissy fit about us not telling her that we switched hotel rooms, even though she announced that she had her own room, and that was that on that. So we come back from the hike. I take a shower, get dressed for like the day, and then we switch rooms. Why do we get to the new room and my cousins say, okay, well, we're gonna go head to our room. We're so confused because we literally just switched rooms for my cousins because she made this thing about not knowing about us switching rooms and not feeling welcome in the room, like this whole thing. So we literally switched rooms because from the DoubleTree Hilton had 2 beds. When we switched from the DoubleTree to, what the heck was the name of it? The Sphere. I can't remember what the name of the hotel was, but it's like one of those big hotels in Vegas. when we switched there, that room had one bed and like a couch, and it was just giving more luxury, but it was only one bed. So then when we switched rooms again, that room had two beds, because one for me and my maid of honor were staying in one bed, and the other bed was supposed to be for my two cousins, and then my other maid of honor, her hubby was in this, like, he was in Vegas. So she was like, girl, I will just go stay with my husband at the end of these nights. Like, that's fine. And so we thought we had it figured out. And then my cousins decide they're going back to their room. I'm still trying to be positive, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little bummed that they're not going to the spa with us. Still kind of confused about that. But okay, I guess they're going back to their room to decorate that room, because I was ear hustling again, and my maid of honor also at that, like, after a certain point, I could see her like really getting frustrated with my cousin changing plans, like, at the very last minute during the weekend. Like, what? So apparently my cousins and one of my cousin's friends, they had like sent the Bachelorette decorations or whatever to her house in Vegas, and she was supposed to meet up with them and decorate the room, and that was supposed to be the surprise. The surprise never happened because my cousin got in her feelings and just decided to say fuck me and fuck the weekend, basically. Her main focus was mostly just like smoking, the things that she and they do all the time. So either way, they leave. I'm like, okay, I'm really confused at this point. All that we've done so far for this Bachelorette weekend is hike for probably like 10 minutes tops. And we didn't even hike. We just took pictures. So I was starting to get frustrated, still trying to like be appreciative, because nobody has to show up for you. Nobody has to fly all the way to Vegas and plan a Bachelorette weekend for you. Like, they didn't have to do that. So I'm still trying to be appreciative, but at the same time, I'm starting to be like, damn, like, what the fuck? So they leave. We decide to go downstairs for breakfast. And that is when my maid of honor basically lets us know that the spa, she told me this, well, she told me the full story after the fact, but in the moment she let it be known. She was like, damn, I messed up. And we're like, why? She's like, I didn't look at the pictures for this spa that I booked, and you're not gonna like it. I'm like, let me see. I look at it. I'm like, what the heck? It was not like, it was one of them like ghetto rinky dink. Why are you even calling this a spa? So I was like, yeah, immediately no. So she's like scrambling, trying to find a new spa for us to go to. And at that point, that's kind of when my heart like dropped into my stomach, and I realized like this wasn't going to be the Bachelorette weekend that I thought it was going to be and that I was expecting. And I was really disappointed because I just couldn't understand why the day we're supposed to be going to the spa, we're looking for a new spa to go to. After the fact, after I talked to her, she did let me know that the original place that she booked like canceled at the last minute and said that they couldn't get us in until Sunday. And she was like, that's not going to work because we're leaving on Sunday. I still don't fully know if she like booked the spa in general at the very last minute, but I was just really disappointed. So either way, she finds a place last minute, and we were supposed to be going to the spa at 1:00, while I thought my cousins were supposed to be decorating the room. Because we had to book a different spa session at the last minute, the time switched from 1:00 to 4 p.m. So we had to switch things around. So we decided to go do the pool thing before the spa. We let my cousins know about that, and we said, hey, we're about to change into our bathing suits, and then we're heading to the pool. My cousins take like 2 hours to come back to the hotel pool. We're up there at the pool, and by the time like my cousins got there, it was basically time to leave to go to the spa. So let me set the scene for the pool. We get upstairs to the pool. It's a Vegas rooftop pool or whatever. You got the views of the mountains around you and all the things. Cool. They also have cabanas that you can rent out. And my maid of honor says to me, "Oh, let's just go sit over there on one of those until they kick us off." And I'm like, why wouldn't we be like renting one of these cabanas? Like, this is not Bachelorette weekend. That's the type of time we should be on. And even if we're not gonna rent the cabana because of money or something, like, I think it's important that we find a space to sit at that's not reserved, because I can't enjoy myself if I'm worried about a hotel worker coming over and telling us to get off of this cabana. I also had started to get like just like over everything. So I didn't vocalize that. I just thought that in my head and I went along with it. So we're sitting on the cabana and my cousins finally make their grand appearance, and they start smoking or whatever. And my anxiety is like through the roof at this point, because I'm like, we're sitting on this cabana and we're not even supposed to be sitting on this cabana, and y'all got the nerve to be smoking right now. Like, this is too much for me. And right now I want to cry. Like, it's hot. Nothing is going to plan. And I'm just annoyed at this point. So my maid of honor and my other bridesmaid decide they're going to go check out the water. And I'm like, yeah, it's hot. So I decide to go over to the water too shortly after. I wasn't really thinking much about my cousins on the cabana. Fast forward about 10 minutes later, here comes my cousin, and she's like, yeah, we're about to bounce. The vibes are off, so we're gonna leave. I'm looking like, bro, what are you, like, what? That's when she starts going on this whole thing about like disrespect, and just like during the whole weekend, she kept throwing these jabs and these shots at my maid of honor, because she just does not like my maid of honor. And so my maid of honor said something back, wasn't rude, but just kind of like spoke up for herself. And then my other bridesmaid, she let it be known, like, look, we all got stuff going on, but at the end of the day, like, we're here for Imani, and all that other stuff should be put aside, because like, this is the memory that she's gonna have of her Bachelorette weekend, and right now it's not a good one. So I don't know, I guess the demon in my cousin's brain like decided to just like chill for a second and like flip the switch. So she finds like a lady and she's like, hey, could you take our picture? Because I'm like, well, are we gonna at least get some pictures in? Like, damn, like, this sucks. Like, so far I've been in Vegas now for a day, half a day. We're going into the next day, and I've still done nothing but kind of just walk around on vibes, and we've done no Bachelorette activities. So we take some pictures real quick or whatever. They're trash. They're ass. I have no good pictures to post. Like, everything was just terrible. And then it was time for us to go to the spa. My cousins, they leave, they go back to their room. I'm thinking they're going to go back to their room to decorate the room. They didn't do that. They went to their room to knock out and sleep. Or God knows what they actually did, because nobody actually really fully knows. So we go to the spa. Somebody at the spa stole my sunglasses, and it wasn't even really a spa. We just went and got massages. That's it. An hour massage. It wasn't like a spa experience. So I was disappointed about that, because I'm like, damn, okay. Still trying to be appreciative. Still bummed, because now I don't even have my, how do you say it? Whatever. Them shade, like, they done stole my shades. Those were my wedding shades. Like, that was like my bride shades, the white. I'm still like trying not to break down. So we're leaving the spa, and in the car, we decide the next thing that we're going to do is dinner. No, I thought yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna go to this, go home, go back to the hotel room, take a little nap because I'm like I'm tired. I need something. Wake up, do dinner, this surprise decorated room, and Drea's nightclub. That's what my cousin had suggested, and at that point I was just kind of like, okay, like just going with the flow because y'all don't actually have any specific plans, and the plans y'all do have, my cousin is like literally changing them in the moment. And my maid of honor is not like maid of honoring and saying, hey, look, this is the plan. I don't care what you saying. But my maid of honor was like more focused on making sure everybody else was happy, more specifically my cousin, than making sure that I was actually having a good time and like actually experiencing a bachelorette weekend. And she admitted to that when we spoke and everything. Um, I'll get to that part. But yeah, so we get back to the hotel room. I take a nap. My maid of honor takes a nap. By the time we wake up, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. She's trying to call everybody to wake everybody up for us to do dinner. And no dinner reservations were made prior to the trip. Another ridiculous, like, what? Why don't we have dinner reservations? Like, huh? So they're trying to find a plate, or they like drop some places in the group chat. At that point, I'm just like, hey, it is what it is. At this point, I don't care anymore. This weekend has gone to shit. So, I get dressed. I have on like a whole gown. Like, I mean, I'm dressed. I got my bride headband on, and my maid of honor, she's like, well, we can just, it might just be me and you. And I'm, at that point, I'm just like, I want to cry. Like, I really do want to cry, and I'm still trying to be appreciative. And my maid of honor kept saying, like, stop huffing. At least we got to do this. At least we got to do this. And I'm like, at least we got to do what? We didn't do shit. Like, I know you're trying to be positive and trying to keep my spirits up, but that's done. I'm not happy. And you know it. So after like an hour and a half, my maid of honor finally gets in contact with my other bridesmaid who had went back to her hubby's room to take a nap. And she meets us downstairs in the lobby, and we're supposed to be, my maid of honor looked up like a Caribbean vibe. She thought it was going to be like live music and all the things. We get there, and it's just like your everyday Jamaican restaurant. And I got on a whole gown at a Jamaican restaurant, ordering Beyond Meat beef patties and their signature mac and cheese. It was just all bad. And it was just me and my two bridesmaids, maid of honor and my other bridesmaids. Nobody knows where my cousins are. We kept calling. They're not answering. I'm assuming they're asleep, but they finally get back to us. They finally call, and they're like, oh, okay, we're gonna meet up with you. Never mentioned anything about decorating the room. And I feel like I'm getting long-winded, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But long story short, they didn't even meet back up with us. We got in contact with them around 10:30 Saturday evening. They were supposed to be meeting us there at that restaurant, and there was still time to kind of like save the night. That they didn't meet back up with us until 1:30, almost 2 o'clock in the morning, when because we had left we ate at the restaurant, the Jamaican spot, whatever, and then we caught a lift to another place called like the Crystal Room or something, and we were just trying to catch a little vibe, grab some mocktails at this point, and like get some pictures, and then still possibly go to this Drea's nightclub or whatever. None of that happened. We got to the Crystal Ballroom. I ordered a mocktail just because, and I kind of just sat there trying to hold back tears at that point, because like I just knew the weekend was over at that point. We got to the Crystal Ballroom around like, I don't know, 11 something. I mean, my flight is at 6 something. I gotta be at the airport at 4 something. Time is gone at this point. The weekend's gone. We've done nothing. we got nothing. We've done nothing. And yeah, my cousins decide to prance on in around 1:30, 2 o'clock, even though we talked to them at 10:30. They're fully dressed and they're expecting us to go to the club. I'm like, I'm going back to the hotel because I have to pack up my stuff and I have to get back home at this point. The weekend's over. So my cousin, I could tell they kind of were like, they just really didn't care. Like, they didn't care about how, and I say they, but more so my one cousin, like, she just did not care about how she was affecting the weekend and how her behavior, like, she just didn't care. And that was that. We left the Crystal Ballroom around 2:15, 2:30-ish. I wanted to cry on the way back to the hotel room. I was really silent. And that was that. My cousins, while we were packing up, my maid of honor and I, we stay in the same room. While we were packing up, my cousins are at Drea's nightclub, dancing the night away, while I'm holding back tears because they didn't do the room. They didn't do nothing happened. Nothing. I didn't even bother taking any pictures in the gown that I had on. And it was just really bad. It was just a really bad weekend. And that was that. We got to the airport. My maid of honor could tell, like, I don't want to talk. I'm not happy. And I'm about to cry as soon as I get away from everybody. And that's what I did. Like, as soon as she went her way, I went my way. I sat down and I had my face mask on and I just let it out and I just cried because I was in shock that, like, I got everybody matching PJs for the room and nothing happened. And as I sat and I reflected, I'm like, damn, all of this is stemming from two people. My maid of honor, not maid of honoring, and my cousin being so unapologetic about ruining the energy of the entire group. So the next Sunday, I flew back in. My fiance, he was there to get me. He had already known the whole story because his best man is my, well, now maid of honors. That's her husband. So he was gossiping the whole time, telling him, like, bruh, your shorty is not happy right now. You might want to love on her. And that's what he did. So when I got back, I sent a message basically to the group chat letting everybody know how disappointed I was. I let my maid of honor know, like, I'm really disappointed because you did not maid of honor. And I let my cousin know I'm really disappointed in you because you let an emotional temper tantrum ruin the entire weekend and you did not care. Like, you gave no fucks. You were going off, throwing jabs, not doing any of the things that you told the group chat that you were doing, and you sabotaged the weekend. And yeah, that was that. So it ended in me having a conversation with my maid of honor, letting her know, look, I love you to death, but you did not maid of honor. So I still want you in the wedding, but no longer as the maid of honor. And I had my other one of my other bridesmaids. She's now my maid of honor, and she is my fiance's best man's wife as well. And it worked out because originally I was going to ask my now maid of honor to be my original maid of honor, but she was going through some stuff at the time, like when I was doing my bridesmaids proposals, and I made my decision based off of who I felt like mentally could be in that role. It wasn't about who I'm closest with, who I've known the longest, none of that. It was really just me trying to make a logical decision. So when all that shit happened and I realized, like, okay, the maid of honor that I have chosen is not working well under pressure, I gotta pivot because I cannot afford to be anxious on my wedding day because I don't know if my maid of honor can maid of honor. So I talked to her. She understood. She was like, yeah, I kind of already expected that. And we're good. Like, we're going to have a pool day tomorrow. Like, we're good. But I did let my cousin know that she's no longer in the wedding because her response to the group chat message that I sent was still just very condescending, still throwing jabs at my at the bridesmaid, at my bridesmaid, like still just doing the thing that ruined the weekend. And not like she was like she saw where she was wrong, but she still didn't give a shit. And then when I look on my cousin, which is her sister, like I looked at her story and I saw them in the club dancing away. Like my bachelorette weekend wasn't a shit show. Like that shit really hurt. Like it did. And I actually cried a little bit because I'm like, damn, like y'all really don't care. Like, damn. So once I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm good on this energy. You don't have to worry about being a part of the wedding. And my other cousin, I just went ahead and kicked her out because no response is a response. Because I hit her up and I let her know, like, hey, I know I kicked your sister out of the wedding. I don't know if you have some sort of allegiance to your sister. I still want you a part of the wedding. But yeah, just let me know. She never responded. And it was like days of no response, yet still like watching my Instagram story and stuff. So I just took no response as a response, and I was just like, okay, so you're no longer in the wedding either. And the main thing that I have learned through all of this is to not let people back into your life who have already burnt you without proof that they have done the work. Because both cousins have burnt me in the past, and I like wasn't talking to them for like a little while, like quite some time. And it's during my bridal season that I decided to like drop the wall, try to let love back in, and allow women in general to be there for me, even though I really just have shitty experiences with women. And more specifically, the women in my family, cousins, like I don't know what it is. Like oh my God, it's just bad. So either way, like both of them have burned me, and I like put that aside and still tried to have them a part of this season. And they both just really showed me like they haven't changed. While yes, I know my cousins love me, they have a very weird way of showing that love, and they just have a lot of growing to do, and I'm just not willing to continue to try to like figure that out or push them into that growth. So I just decided to just put that distance back up. Love you from afar. Mwah, mwah. I'm sure you're seeing this video now because I know y'all gonna watch it. And that's just that on that. So my bridesmaid party went from 6 to 4. My maid of honor got demoted. One of our bridesmaids got promoted, and we are still pushing on with this wedding on September 20th. And that's that. That was my bachelorette weekend from hell. I know that was pretty long-winded. If you actually got through all of that, wow, shout out to you. I just decided to just put the camera on and just talk. I didn't like make any like specific talking points or anything like that. But yeah, that's that on that. So I'm disappointed, but I'm not gonna let this like completely ruin my this season of my life. Like I'm not doing that. But this season of my life really has shown me just how much distance I will be putting up with several people going forward. Like several cousins, aunts, Like, and it's disheartening, but I am thankful for all of this because it's like I'm entering a whole new chapter of life. And this chapter of life is where like it matters. Like the people I choose really matter. So if I haven't been choosing the right people or giving the right people chances, then I'm happy to be figuring that out now versus later on down the line when I have children and I'm expecting people to show up for me in that way, all of the things. So that's that on that. My maid of honor, though, my new maid of honor, who was supposed to be the maid of honor originally, anyway, all of whatever. She's already like maid of honoring, and she also has already started to plan another trip for just myself and my fiance and her hubby, because again, she's my maid of honor, her hubby is my fiance's best man, and we're just gonna take like a couples trip on some grown and sexy shit. And one of my other bridesmaids, she was like, no, we're redoing the weekend. I'm not attached to that, so we'll see. So yeah, that's that. Thanks for listening to all of this. Send me some love, because while I'm like smiling and all of that, I do still have my moments where I kind of get a little bit sad when I just kind of think about like, damn, I thought motherfuckers rock with me. So yeah, just kind of send me some love as I kind of continue to move through this season and those realizations, because it really does suck when you expect your family specifically to show up for you in a way and they just don't, and they come through and they let demons just run the show and they just don't care. So that's that on that. I love you. I mean it. Mwah.